He-Man was, at its inception, a marketing ploy for action figures. A lot. In fact, pretty much just about all of the cartoons that people my age remember were marketing ploys for toys. Um, Ren and Stimpy, the old Nicktoons really weren't. There were toys, but I don't think they didn't sell. Um, the characters did not lend themselves to action figures because they were cartoon characters, not cartoon characters designed to sell action figures. Um, and in fact, what that means is that the He-Man characters were kind of based around the action figures rather than the other way around. Ninja Turtles was kind of an exception that proved the rule or whatever, or the exception to it either way, because that was originally a comic that had no marketing for action figures. Um, but the later cartoons all base their designs on the action figures. Like each time there's a toy line. So you can have an opinion about whether Kevin Smith baited and switched or whatever, and there's facts of the matter, so you can probably go beyond opinion. I have a bias, however. I feel like I was burned by Mr. Smith at the Galesburg show in Illinois a couple years back. It's probably 3 or 4 years now. He just had his heart attack and it was back on the road after that, and everybody bought the advance tickets and went to the show, and was announced at the show that there was going to be a second show that had not been announced or advertised, and if you wanted to go see it, you could go get back in line. And, if you just got money to burn and no responsibilities in the world, then yeah, sure, you can afford to do that. But situation we were in, there were three of us. One of us had to go back several hours away the other direction, and we brought the dog. She was in the truck. It was at night. She had air conditioning and a radio, and frequent checkups. But there was no way we were going to keep the dog cooped up in the truck for another couple hours after having to stand around and wait in line to get in. So anyways, it's just, there was talk about the next show throughout the show, and would get ready to make references to things he was going to talk about and say, and that's the thing I'm going to talk about at the next show. And it's like, dude, come on. So some people went. There was a lot of booze. The question and answers didn't really inspire. It was just the same generic crap. I wonder how many of the people were their job was to ask questions. Just speculating. So now everyone's all hullabalooing about this He-Man thing with Tila, and it's like, okay, you knew. Now, what they're hullabalooing about is that the guy that was helming it, apparently, or it was an executive producer, I don't know. He was on it, he attached his name to it, he promoted it. He told people one thing and apparently another thing happened. Okay, cool. So they're mad at that. But you can't be mad at the fact that the corporate wokeists did a corporate wokist thing with a nostalgic product. This is not the first time. And that it went exactly the way that it went. Predictable. And that it was a marketing money ploy for the people that want your money for these streaming services. And probably an ensuing action figure line, because action figures are still hot. So if they make a limited run, cancel the show, and then their action figures become worth something later, but it's not a value to them. So I don't know if that's part of the plan. But I can't. It's not a surprise. Everyone's like, "Oh, come on, man." This is not a surprise. So I don't know. I love the New Jersey trilogy. I thought Dogma was great. I think Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and the reboot were clever and heartfelt. I had previously considered myself a fan of the work of Kevin Smith, and generally speaking, that is so. There's a few things I haven't seen, and I'm sure they're good. But then, after a while, you realize that a lot of the writing is also just kind of a return to this old style that it was him being a know nothing in, film school, trying to write, cool dialogue or whatever, and it's just it's a playbook by now. Can he go beyond that and do anything better? Apparently not. So, I'm a fan of some of the works. As a person having seen the business model that he uses, I got better things to spend my money on. But I mean, I don't know that I'm like hateful. I think that I got burned on a what could have been a better show instead of paying for an advertisement for another show. Obviously, money's the thing. I'm not going to hate a person for that, but be interesting to see what his career looks like after this. That being exposed is like, and it's because this dude spoke for a generation. This generation's kids have grown up getting a chance to be old enough to see, like, seriously, the generation that Clerks was about have kids that are old enough to almost have kids, if not have kids. And Slacker generation, their kids are going to learn about slackers. And Kevin Smith's movies spoke to that generation, and now he's speaking to the advertising and corporate boards, and his bottom line is his bottom line. And I mean, is it a surprise? No. Is it a tragedy? I suppose. I don't agree with any of his political leanings, not on any particular argument basis, but because it's obvious that he doesn't put a whole hell of a lot of thought into it himself. And he's become one of them. That's what it is. I won't be watching the new He-Man. I don't have Netflix anyway. Same thing with any of the stuff with the Mandalorian, and it's like I don't have a dog in the race because I don't subscribe to Disney Plus either. I don't pay for YouTube. So, yeah, that's what I think about that. What is it? Don't be surprised when the snake that you're messing with has fangs and venom or something, or I don't know. The surprise Pikachu. That's what that is. Surprise Pikachu. Don't act surprised when the thing that is what it is does what it does. Peace out.